morning, brothers. Here we are, the last day of my presentation. Tomorrow you are going to present and I'm going to be your student. So tomorrow you are the resource persons for me, alright? So today this is the last talk. Actually this afternoon only I'm going to prepare for confession by adopting the model from Pope Francis called Universal Reconciliation. So that is we will do this afternoon, but right now this talk is going to be a long talk because I will end, maybe by 10 o'clock I will finish, or it will go beyond maybe some 10 minutes like that. So bear with me, it's a last day. Already I observe in this community the sense of urgency and anticipation for action. That is what I have been observing from day one. They want to do something. No blah blah blah. They don't like blah blah blah. I know that. Action, that's what we want. So the way they conducted the liturgy, prayer, illustrates that sense of urgency, the sense of anticipation. You have received this message joyfully. We are ready. Yes. So now in order to facilitate that feeling, I'm going to help you today, this morning, to cut out a plan, all right? Perfect plan. So already the brothers, the previous group, they already worked on that and they sent me the report. I didn't check it, but I checked today, they sent me the report. 3 groups, I divided them and 3 reports they sent me. But I'm also going to divide you today into 3 groups. You are also going to tomorrow discuss about what we can do basing on the stuff what I'm going to provide today, and then you carve out 3 blueprints. So now we are going to bring those blueprints, 3 and your 3, and prepare a document like Pope Francis Laudato Si or Fratelli Tutti, maybe like 12 paragraphs at the most. You can dedicate 3 paragraph, 3 paragraph, 3 paragraph for the 3 themes I'm going to provide for 3 groups. 12 paragraphs. We don't want big. So only 12 paragraphs, but you should make it a beautiful document. We are going to send that to Vatican, to the Peace and Justice Commission and to the Secretary of State, that Montfort brothers, they are doing Laudato Si action plan for 7-year Laudato Si celebrating. Okay, so we are going to send it to everybody, Nuncio. To everybody we are going to send these copies so that your provincial, your general in Rome, etc., etc. All right, let us go to work, going deep into 3 relationships. So here I am going to discuss about stages of renewal. There are 7 stages. Pope Francis calls them Laudato Si goals. Okay? They are given by Rome itself. Alright, Pope himself has given the action plan. So it's very easy for us to follow. Only you can enlarge it according to our context, according to our need, according to our urgency. We can make it, enlarge it or shrink it, whatever you want. Okay, it is called Laudato Si goals, but I have changed into stages of renewal. The second one is action platforms. Where can we implement this Laudato Si goals? Where can we implement? So there are different platforms like families, dioceses, schools, university, etc., etc. So what are the mechanisms? We need some action mechanisms to mitigate, no? So they are known as the mitigation mechanisms. So that I have carved out 10 different mitigation mechanisms. I carved them basing on Laudato Si. Pope did not carve them out, but I carved them out for you as examples. And you can also carve by reading Laudato Si Fratelli Tutti. You are able to make more mitigation mechanisms. Maybe it may be 20 you can enlarge them into, or you can reduce that. My 10 you can make it only 4, only 3, or only 2, whatever you want. So the mitigation mechanisms are just examples how you can do it. So this, I think it's very easy for you to understand, and we'll proceed. There's a beautiful quote, Joe Kaiser. Sustainability is not just about adopting the latest energy efficient technologies or turning to renewable sources of power. Just now they are doing in COP26. This is the big thing, going transition. They call it an energy transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources. So that is the big discussion yesterday, today also. They are trying to think about that. But this quote, it's beautiful. Sustainability is the responsibility of every individual every day. It is not COP26 responsibility. It is about changing our behavior and mindset to reduce power and water consumption, thereby helping to control emissions and pollution levels. At last it comes to human ecology, to me, what I have inside of me, okay? The restraint, frugal use of resources, sacrifice, sharing, all those human ecology, that is the thing which will make a big impact, not the decisions from COP26. Matthew 10:8, freely you have received, freely give. That is what you have inside. You receive freely. What did you receive freely? We have not yet looked into. Never ever. We are looking in other people's, safe. In other people's, boxes. What you have, what ecosystem has, forgetting our own locker. Lock them safe. We check out other people's lockers. That is bad. Freely you have received. What you receive, find out. And give that freely. It is not money. I tell you, it is not money at all. Money never comes in. It is the beauty of inner self. Luke 6:38, give and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Today we are talking about universal fraternity, that is Pope Francis talks. Also in COP26, I think much earlier, even the United Nations Convention happened in Japan, Kyoto in 2007, Copenhagen in 2009, Durban in 2011. All these United Nations conventions, they were talking about universal energy, universal communication. What they mean? No charge. You receive freely, give it free. Wow. Humanity expressed their best in these meetings. We want to provide everything free because Earth receives free. The same concept I was talking the other day about ecosystem free services. They provide all the services absolutely free of charge. Then why do we charge? That is the mindset our world leaders were having. It came from secularism not from any religion. Secular politicians thought about universal fraternity before Pope Francis wrote it last year. That is mind-boggling, isn't it? That is amazing. I'm stunned. See, they talked about universal health care. No pay, anything, nothing, free. Universal housing, clothing, food, everything, whatever you require, everything will be provided by the state. Universal communication, universal energy, universal access to funds, universal citizenship. There is no countries. One world. Like birds, like rivers, you can travel without passport and visa, wherever you want. You can live wherever you want to. Religions, go out. Universal spirituality, universal relationships. That is God, human, Russian. This is not a utopian vision. No. It is possible. Very soon, we are moving towards that lofty goal, highest vision of life. We become all one, God, human, creation. So we are moving towards that. Swadeshi, Swaraj, Sarvodaya. These are the tools that can be employed to achieve all these things. So now the lines of approach and action Pope Francis is discussing in the chapter 5 of Laudato Si. If you want to find a broader vision of our actions, you are going to consult chapter 5. Now we have come to act. We have seen see, judge yesterday. Today, act. So dialogue on the environment in the international community, that is the longest discussion in the entire document, having 11 paragraphs. Day before yesterday I told you 10 paragraphs, loss of biodiversity, that is the longest discussion I said. But here, this is the longest discussion in the entire encyclical. So today, every member of the COP26 are reading paragraph number from 164 to 175. Every leader is doing in Glasgow, Scotland. So today, if you want to be one with the international community, you just open the document and read from 164 to 175. So you will understand they are discussing about all these things what Pope mentioned 5 years ago. Yes. If you are looking for our own country, you are going to look in the second subheading, Dialogue for New National and Local Policies. This is where India comes. So if you want to act in national level, you find all the action things in the second one. Dialogue and transparency in decision making. Everybody should have a hand in carving out future for us and for our children. Everybody should be included in the making of important decisions, whether it is international level or whether in the diocesan level or whether in religious orders levels. All the members have the right to vote or right to decide what they want for the future of their institution. That is dialogue and transparency in decision making, 180 to 188. Then politics and economy should dialogue. The goal is human fulfillment. Today, politics is blaming economy. It's all economy fault. Economy blames politicians. These politicians, they don't allow us. This is how we blame and we don't do the right thing. That's how they escape. That's how they wash their hands. But now Pope is not accepting this kind of business as usual behavior. So he says, dialogue, economy, politics, sit on the table, both of you talk openly. We can solve problems through dialogue. That is the main thing here. You dialogue and transparency. These are the two things which can help us to solve most of the problems. And last, religions in dialogue with science. See, he doesn't spare even the church. He is a very critic of his own institution, because for 500 years we did dialogue with science, because science pointed out, you are wrong. Science pointed out everything, whatever you thought, wrong, 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 wrong. Then they built a big wall. No science anymore. He is going to betray us. Everything he will expose about us. Keep him far away. So we kept him far away 500 years. But now again Pope accepted. Wow, they are also partners in change. Science is a partner. We should take him. That's why he builds the whole argument of Laudato Si basing on science. Yeah. The whole document starts with the science and he proceeds with the faith. Integral. Science and religion should come together for human welfare. The last one is full of actions, smallest chapter, but very insightful. Look at the subheadings. It looks as if a big book. No, smallest chapter. So that there's a lot of things you can learn. So you remember the first day I gave you a slide, 3 practices fix to ecological crisis. That is the first slide I showed you. 3 practices fix to ecological crisis. Ecological education, ecological spirituality, ecological lifestyle. These are the 3, in which I am going to divide in 3 groups. One group, ecological education, another group, ecological spirituality, another group, ecological lifestyle. Those 3 groups come from this chapter Pope is writing about. All right, towards a new lifestyle, 203 to 208 paragraph. Ecological education, 209 to 250. My God, there are almost 6 paragraphs dedicated for ecological education. And the third one, ecological spirituality, he calls it ecological conversion, 216 to 221 paragraphs. So these are the main things. And then he goes to joy and peace, civic and political love. I never realized there will be a love in politics, but he writes a political love. Sacramental science and the celebration of rest. See the rest, that one day they get 232, 237 paragraphs. Rest is very important. That's what Pope writes. The Trinity and the relationship with creatures, Queen of all creation, beyond the sun. Then comes the prayer we prayed this morning, you remember? Okay, let's get into the real discussion now. 7 stages of renewal. These are the 7 goals Pope Francis gives us. So, almost it's a teaching of the church, magisterium of the church. So this is the faith we profess. Every encyclical is proclaimed ex cathedra. That is the word they use. With authority, it is infallible. Ex cathedra statements are like expressions of our faith. So this is ex cathedra. So it's very important teachings. Yeah, when you do again all this, probably some sense of sin it invokes. So the first, response to the cry of the earth, response to the cry of the poor, ecological economics. Remember that, the village economics of Mahatma Gandhi. Exactly that is what ecological economics Pope Francis using. Swadeshi Swaraj Sarvodaya. The fourth one is adaptation of simple lifestyle. That is a 3 processes fixed to ecological crisis. I call it. Pope doesn't call it. I call it. So that's why I put them in the green, but still they are proposed by Pope. And last one is emphasis on community involvement and participatory action to care for creation. Here comes everybody. Okay, we will see in detail now. And then you see, these 7 goals or stages of renewal should be illustrated on platforms or the big infrastructures, action platforms where we can implement them. So they are known as Laudato Si platforms. But for your understanding, I put the action platforms. Alright, they are known as the Laudato Si platform. Pope himself gives those platforms. Families, religious houses, parish, schools, universities, hospitals and healthcare centers, business and agriculture. The last is religious orders and provinces. Yes, that is your stuff, the 7th one. So I have given you mitigation mechanisms. 10 of them I identified. It is my own understanding of Laudato Si and Fratelli Tutti. Basing on the document, I have carved out 10 mechanisms. So these are examples for you, so that you can carve out more mechanisms, or you can diminish from 10 and make it only 3 or 4. First, energy conservation and efficiency, transportation, water conservation, creating sustainable landscapes, because church owns a lot of land. 7% of the land is owned by Catholic Church, you know that. Buying and sharing food, reducing consumption, combating desertification, renewal in agriculture, adaptation to climate change, environmental impact assessment team we have to establish in every province and every diocese. Part 1, 7 stages of renewal, Laudato Si goals. Just you read it for a few seconds. It comes from the Pope. That's why I didn't alter anything. It is, we are going to the source, to Vatican. This is our profession of faith. So just read for yourselves. Very important. Already, COP 26, we are discussing the first one. Greater use of clean renewable energy, reducing fossil fuels. Today, we are discussing in order to achieve carbon neutrality, efforts to protect and promote biodiversity. Maybe after 2-3 days they will come to that. Guaranteeing access to clean water for all. That is also in the agenda. So this is the mandate from our Mother Church in response to the cry of the earth. So I have given you some resources from the document you can use to understand what these are about. All right, these things are explained here by Pope himself. So resources, I don't have a time to read everything. You can read for yourself. Also for your holy hour, you can take this one. You can, on things you can develop in holy hour. Okay. Each province should become carbon negative province. All right. Bhutan, Tuvalu, Vatican, all these states are known as carbon negative states. Their forest is larger than their carbon emissions. Their forest can sequester their carbon emissions and also sequester other people's carbon emissions. Bhutan is nestled between India and China. So their forest, there are only 7 lakh of people in Bhutan. What country is that one? Not even a city like Bellu. That is a country. But anyway, they are boasting that we are carbon negative country. I only 7 lakhs. What man? Tuvalu, another small little island. Vatican, very small, where people go harbor, negative. But we give you our Indian population to Bhutan, they can't even feed anybody. So India is not able to feed 1.4 billion people. Amazing. Rex Tillerson, when coal came into picture, it took about 50 or 60 years to displace timber. Then crude oil was found, and it took 60 or 70 years, and then natural gas now. So it takes 100 years or more for some new breakthrough in energy to become the dominant source. Most people have difficulty coming to grips with the sheer enormity of energy consumption. So what we are talking, the energy transition will take 100 years to come into effect. That's what he is telling. But good, excellent, will come. The second is response to the cry of the poor. Few seconds I give you. Just read for yourself. Okay, defense of human life from conception to death. There is a small change there. Death, church never used death before. Consumption only, okay? The fetus, they are defenders of, then they call it, we are pro-life. No, you are not pro-life. You are pro-human life. There is a big difference there. But now, pro-life all the way, church has come to that mindset. That means every life is sacred, not only human. Even before human was not complete, because church was talking only about fetus in the stomach. They were not talking about the, a person condemned to lose the capital punishment. They were not telling you shouldn't do that. Church never taught about it. But now, recently, Pope is teaching fratelli tutti. It is not right to take one's life as a punishment. Yes. Life sentence we can give, but capital punishment should be abolished. At last, church is pro-life. All the way. Even Pope talks about other creatures not to harm them. All right. So with special attention to vulnerable, also humans, groups such as indigenous communities, migrants, children at risk through slavery, all those things we can bring in. All right, these are some examples I am giving you to understand and to enlarge your vision about what is response to the cry of the poor. What does it mean? So these paragraphs will help you to illumine that concept. Number 3, ecological economics. Gandhian village economics. At last, India never followed them. Nehru ditched them all. Nobody followed. Our Prime Minister and so on, they never even mention about Mahatma Gandhi. That is sad. But anyway, Mahatma Gandhi is remembered today all over through his village economics, Swadeshi, Swaraj, Sarvodaya. Whatever you read in Laudato Si Fratelli Tutti, what are these 3 things again and again? So what is ecological economics both means? Few minutes I give you, just go through them. Okay, sustainable production. That means permanent agriculture. One example. You need not go and buy fertilizers for sustainable production. The same thing which has been produced last time, that becomes the source. Nambalwar has the nice poem on that. Adi kaatule, nadu maatule, nuni ootule. Which means our cultivation, no, you don't harvest. When you harvest adi, no, that becomes the fertilizer source for sustainable production. Adi kaatule, nadu maatule. That vaikol, no, hay, that goes to the cattle who help you in agriculture. And also it will come at the back after some time, isn't it? Cow dung. That also comes to the adi, no? So, nadu maatule, nuni ootule. That is, we take the rice to our homes. So, there also, another numia. When we take the rice, what is the Tamil word? Umi, no? That thing also comes to Martula, reverse. It comes to Martula, then comes to Kartula. Again, it comes all the way down. Such a beautiful thing. That is called sustainable production. You never go out, nowhere. Everything is there. Then fair trade. Ethical trade, ethical consumption, see the word there, aram everywhere. Ethical investments. If our congregation Montfort Brothers, if you have some kind of investment in some stocks, no, maybe fossil fuel stocks, you come up. It is called divestment from fossil fuels. So most of the Catholic institutions, they are coming out of this kind of investments because we are also sinning if you have invested in stocks and fossil fuels, etc. Some other forms of technology that destroys earth and its systems. So you have to come out of it. And you can invest in green energy sources like wind energy. Some of the dioceses of Tamil Nadu, they are having in Kanyakumari district, that big windmills. It was 1 crore some 10, 15 years ago. It must be now 2 crores for one turbine windmill. So maybe if people have funds, you can think of investing in that green energy source where you can use your own energy. Green energy. But if you put the windmill here, you don't get the wind here. You need to go to the place. Then the electricity board takes it over and they give you discount. Here, your electricity bills, all they will mitigate. But they will take the source to the main grid and they distribute it. But you will be getting discount. And also if you produce more energy, you will get money also. So you have to do some research on that. Any economic activity harmful to the planet and the people, you have to divest. Last, investment in renewable energy. So I've given you a lot of resources here. You can really read and learn. Recently, Pope Francis had a beautiful book, An Unfettered Pursuit of Money, Rules, Unbridled Capitalism is the dung of the devil. Nobody has seen the dung of the devil. I don't know how it looks like. I wonder. But Pope has seen it. Imagine Pope Benedict would write this. No, even Pope Benedict would have read it and then he would have told, oh my God, what happened to him? What happened to him? I made a big mistake of giving my papacy to him. He would have had the same thought. But Pope Francis, witnessing to the truth, come on, throw the tradition, decorum, I use the word, dung of the devil.